Good evening, guys. What's going on? Good evening, pattern watchers. How am I this evening? You asked Jonathan Fry. I'm all good, man. I'm tired tonight, man. I'm tired. I've been on this, had some food, and then just shut down. So I'm really tired tonight. But the second we come to the charts, the second we roll onto the stream, ladies and gentlemen, the fire starts to ignite. And then we start burning up a little bit. And then we start getting triggered. We start looking at the movements of Mr. Market Maker manipulating the zone. I had an agreement with Steve not to move price, but the guy decides to do it anyway. So I've got to have a conversation with Steve and tell him to just chill out for 5 minutes. Let me do my stream, then move price. Why do we call it 3? What's the significance of 3, ladies and gentlemen? 3 hits to the high, 3 hits to the low. 3 p.m. I have to get off the stream. That's when things move. Jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be looking at the manipulation of Bitcoin this evening. Okay, we're going to understand its journey. We're going to understand why we should always be mindful of the intention and then look for the patterns and the cycles and the levels, continuations, retrace, 50 EMAs afterwards. Why? Because the only way confluences can happen is if there is traders coming to the chart trying to fulfill a desire, a passion, a need, a want, a vision, a dream to see liquidity go into their pockets. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this game is the hardest, easiest way to make money. And you're in an industry where 95% of the players that participate lose. So that's why I say to you, always pay yourself. Because the guys who don't pay themselves are paying the guys that do. And that's the sad truth of trading, ladies and gentlemen. Mad love and respect for everyone passing through to tonight's live stream. It's a follow-up from today's stream earlier on at 2 p.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I know that means I'm leaving, but I'm about to leave this introduction and go into the context of tonight's discussion. Welcome to the manipulation of Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a conversation. So, what do we know? What has happened? What is it that they have done? And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this game of trading, it always surprises me. It really does. And it's crazy when they try and mislead people into believing one thing against the next. You see, human behavior still does not change. Now, we're going to itemize something. We're going to look into something just to help you guys understand the benefit of why you need to watch every stream that you watch the last stream beforehand. Why? Because it's a follow-up. All right. The start of the stream earlier on today, ladies and gentlemen, where we spoke about Bitcoin, which is right here. As you can see, we've got Bitcoin. Do you trust it? The New York Open. All right. And in this stream, we were talking about the projected levels of behavior by price on where we would expect Bitcoin to end up. OK, this is important. Stick with me on this, ladies and gentlemen. To the chart on the right is the market dominance. Now, I spoke about this in my last video, which I talk about trading setups. But just for the nature of demonstration, we're going to just discuss the idea behind what's going on. We know that the tensions of Russia starting to take its toll. Okay, we look to the market dominance to try and establish where we would expect them to reverse. Okay, we had this zone right here where there were vector candles in the chart, which means price exchanged hands at this point. Now remember, the dominance chart is a yield. It is an indication of interest, which means traders put their money into this asset to protect themselves for any variance, volatility in Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency that they may purchase. And the result of that would lead to price rising. Okay. But then when it's dropping, it means people are taking out their money and investing in cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum. Okay. Look at Bitcoin's position. We were trying to establish if the test of the 50 EMA was going to happen today. Granted, they did come down and they didn't even come back up. They just went straight down towards the previous vector candle. Look at gold. We had marked off the range in the chart where we were expecting gold to come back up on the principle that if the players of those involved in gold are looking to get gold cheaper with the anticipation that they know that news is going to be a problem and that the overview of the economy and tensions overseas is going to be an issue for their investments, they are naturally going to seek safety. Then we look at this image and then we come to this right here, ladies and gentlemen, and we see everything has played out the way we had anticipated. Why? Not because the pattern played out, not because the EMAs didn't do their thing or anything else. It's all because of intention and sentiment across the board. This manipulative move to the upside could have been triggered on other factors, but not enough for them to turn the market to continue higher. This manipulative play by Bitcoin was a classic example of Mr. Market Maker behavior. Does that mean we are out of the woods? Does it mean Bitcoin is going to go lower? We will only know based on how Asia is going to translate this information. Because, of course, the US declares that within 48 hours, there's going to be a full-scale Russian invasion. Whether it happens or not, the sheer speculation of it potentially happening, all right, is enough for traders to not play the game of guess and just put their money into safety. Look at the manipulative range of gold right here, ladies and gentlemen. They are holding gold just about before they come back up and break out. They want to try and get the best possible fill in gold to protect themselves. The S&P 500, the correlation now starts to play out. Okay, if we look at this image earlier on when we spoke about it, you can see now Bitcoin and the S&P following trend like for like. Okay, so the coefficient is actually playing out as we anticipate. Okay, happy days. Then we look to another aspect of it, Bitcoin versus gold. You can see gold is rising up, Bitcoin is dropping. So we're putting all our macroeconomics, whatever you want to call it, we're putting it into place and we are establishing that the intention and sentiment is people are scared and price across the board is going to drop. How far is the question? Bitcoin, let me bring up the chart for you to put it into perspective. We have got ourselves a very interesting range right now with Bitcoin. We are in on the development of what appears to be a very nice W formation. However, ladies and gentlemen, before anyone starts saying, yeah, but Tino, we need to wait to see if it comes back up from this zone. This move to the upside was triggering the retail traders to go long whilst they were hitting some of the liquidation points for the shorts. Now they want to add some more shorts to the downside and get traders to commit there with their intention to take out all the liquidation points for the longs. When we look at the high block itself, we make the assumption, come on, man. We can make the assumption that this liquidity down here is going to be eaten before they start coming back up to this. In other words, once they've got everyone of the belief that everything is now going to the downside, it is at that point that they will turn price. Why? Because you try and get people to close a winning trade when all it does is make them money. All right? This is the big issue that people have. They don't pay themselves because they want more. Again, human nature does not change. And that's the sad truth. You know? But Tino, what? Newsflash. Big war started, Russia, Ukraine, Bitcoin 11K. Well, what's this? Yes, I know. 1000% move is coming soon. Wish greed could be controlled. You can control greed. Kobe, you've just worked out my name backwards is on it. This is it, guys. You know, tide will turn at capitulation. This is correct. If we want to understand what that means in terms of capitulation, we ain't even there yet, ladies and gentlemen. Look. Where is it? The net unrealized profit and loss, okay? These are the capitulation points of Bitcoin, right? We're nowhere near that yet, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, traders are feeling anxious by principle. They are feeling anxious. We're at 38,460. That's what the price is updated from that point, okay? And we're nowhere near capitulation. What point will capitulation be? Because they can move to capitulation pretty quick. What point does it get triggered? Price may even drop down to like 30,000, for example. Will that trigger capitulation? Who knows? But we have had 1, 2, 3, 4 points of capitulation in the chart. All right? But we haven't had any euphoric, greedy moments at the highest high of Bitcoin. That's concerning for me. Why is there no excitement and greed when Bitcoin hits 67, yet there is when it hits 20K? What's the story there? Tells me that the players involved in Bitcoin, they don't have time to be fearful or greedy. They take the money when it's good and they put it back when it's bad, because everyone ain't going to get involved when it's dropping to the downside. People then see price when it's time to sell. They sell or they don't do anything. When price is rising, it's time to buy and they don't sell anything. That's the madness of this game, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it that there is always someone to buy and sell in this game of trading? You know? Let's have a look at what people are saying. Yeah, flash news. Well, listen, we'll know if the news is valid based on what is put on here. This is a pretty decent source for the time being. Here you go. War headlines dominate Euro USD. Our market's already past Russia-Ukraine crisis. This is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes the news tends to dismiss what's going on. Sometimes traders just have a muted response to what's happening across the world. All right. They'll look to commodities. They'll look at gold. And if gold is rising, fine. Jump on the gravy train. Try and exploit that. Happy days. OK, until there is contact, until it's full scale discussion. Yep, fine. It's happening. There is a problem overseas. And just this speculation of titles being thrown out. Yes, it's happening. No, it's not. This is happening. No, it's not. Look, if you follow the articles in this platform right here. Okay, not to disrespect this platform, because this platform, Forex Factory, releases articles from all sorts of platforms. Okay, this is the median right here. It just is a platform for everyone to release this information. All right, one article will say guaranteed that there's going to be an invasion. Another article would say that they're coming into an agreement, that they're going to have a summit and what have you. Then the next article will talk about no, they're not going to have the summit. Like, make a pick, take your pick. What information is valid, what information is not valid. And we're always going to have that when it comes to news. Okay? So, what can we expect moving forward, ladies and gentlemen? Well, quite frankly, if this pattern is going to play out here, not to forget the bigger pattern that is present in the chart. So look at this. Let me go to the 4-hour time frame and zoom out a little bit. What if this pattern is starting to play out? Yeah? What if that's the case? Where do we stand? What if this pattern is still valid? Because until price breaks below this area here, this pattern right here is still valid. Okay? Zoom forward. What do you see? You see another pattern. So then that solidifies the concept of patterns within patterns and cycles within cycles. Everything is fractal. It's all going to be working together. All right? But this aggressive move away is a little bit of a concern for me, because Asia's going to react to what has happened today. So from now until the Asian session this evening, ladies and gentlemen, if any good news comes out about these tensions overseas, then we should naturally expect price to move higher. The problem that I've got, guys, is this. S&P has taken a battering to the downside. Gold is being contained for reasons other than getting ready to move higher, potentially. Okay? And USD dominance is just moving higher and higher. 5% is the goal that I'm looking at. All right, I'm wanting to see the 5% mark, which if we are to actually work it out, can price actually go in that direction? You know, it's one of those situations. They've been pulling it back. Now people are pulling back from price. They're now rushing back to USDT. It's all news plays. When you're coming to the charts, guys, be mindful that you are dealing with emotions in the chart, and they are heightened at this very point in time. Sometimes you won't see cycles play out the way you expect them to play out. You won't see patterns play out the way you want them to, because news is doing a good job of getting traders to commit liquidity. Okay? Are we cool with that? It's called a zigzag pattern. Okay. Angel, my girlfriend lives there and said things going down. Okay. A lot of people are waiting to go long at 36, which is a major support point, but I can't help but feel we will revisit, create a higher low at 33.6, 35.4, 34.5. Bookmap suggests it too. Thoughts on probabilities? Alicia, here we go. So this is what you are pretty much saying. Everyone is buying at 36. Yeah, everyone's waiting to go long at 36. Why 36? Let's have a look at 36. Let's zoom out. 36.6. Where does that take us? 36.6 is right. I'm guessing 36.6 is right here, yeah? Well, let's look at this range. If everyone is waiting to go long from this point, okay? Let's look at the market maker's perspective. Let me increase the scale on here for my guys with mobiles. Let me get up for you. 28. Okay then. So the idea is that people are looking to go long from this zone. Okay. So what is in this zone? What's so important about the 36 zone that people are looking at price for? So let's look left. What do we see? Maybe it's the vector zone. Okay. That's valid. But it's only in the previous pool of liquidity that it's already come into. So quite frankly, if I'm going to be a market maker and I'm seeing that loads of people are committing liquidity at the 36 range, of course, this snapshot was taken earlier on, and we make the assumption that at 36, we don't see no liquidity. Okay? I can't see any liquidity at 36. I see them at 35,400. Sorry, 34,500, 34 and 33,500. So this grants the question. If everyone's expecting price to go to 36,600, that means people are going to be going long from that point. Okay, that means there are people that will believe that price will break beyond 36,600 and maybe go lower. So in this instance, there is an influx of liquidity that the market maker can come and send price towards and get his position filled. So this is what may happen. Stick with me on this. Let's make the assumption that price does go down to 36,600. Okay, it goes there. It taps the range. Okay, it hits it. Market maker has just triggered all those limit buys, pulls price back up. Guess what happens? Those guys who have just been filled long have now activated their margins, their liquidation points to the downside. Market maker will keep price in this range, probably scale out a little bit. We've got Thursday midweek reversal in principle. We've also got the tensions overseas. Are they going to wait for any information to come out for that? Price stabilizes, and then before you know it, they initiate another stop hunt rise to the upside to commit the same longs that went long at 36 to add more liquidity in this range, thus moving and adding more liquidation points in the zone. And then we might see a little bit of a surprise movement, stop hunt rise, and then another drop to the downside to a fulfill and take advantage of the retail traders that went long and trigger all the guys who went short in that zone as well. You see, the guys that would go short from 36 are getting their liquidation points hit with the stop hunt rises to the upside. 1, 2, 3 hits to the high. Then they move it down. Take the liquidity of the guys who went long, make them pay the price, and then beyond 36, we come all the way down to 33 and 34, which would be consistent with the book map. Now, guys, I'm speaking into speculation, okay? I'm not telling you that this is where Bitcoin is going to go for definite. No guarantees whatsoever. But I'm helping you profile the understanding of the journey of price based on who's going to be putting their money in the charts at what point and the reaction that the market will have because of it. Because if we have an influx of orders in this area, market maker's going to have this massive liquidity injection where he's going to get an opportunity to go long and short in the same zone because the liquidity is there. And he's the only one that will make it happen. Yeah? Are we cool with that, ladies and gentlemen? Are we cool with that? Did Tino just draw an Axie Infinity character? I draw out Pikachu. This is not a pump, please. This is not a pump. Bitcoin is not pumping at all. All right? I do not conceive that to be a pump. It's just, yeah, rejecting the range daily low. We want to be mindful of the wick. Bitcoin needs to go above the 50 EMA. That's what it needs to do. The fact that it's traded way above its daily open today, now it's come and traded down lower, that is a sad cause. Okay? Look at where they've come to, ladies and gentlemen. Do we need to talk about precision of the market makers? Do you see what I mean about manipulation? Just witness this madness. Look at the wick and look where it matches up to. Smack, look at that. Smack bang at the open of the vector candle. How crazy is that, ladies and gentlemen? That should solidify some aspect to you guys in understanding the way this game operates. What is it about the precision of spiking down lower, taking that liquidity, triggering longs at the lowest point and moving back up? What we just spoke about at the 36,600 level is happening right now at the 37,113 zone. Okay, trigger the longs, move price back up, make them stay committed to the chart, take out all the shorts that provided the short entries in here, hit their liquidation points, then Asia will show its worth, stop hunt rise to the upside, rejection, come back down, stabilize, and then try and recover the wick. Okay, it's a frightening game, ladies and gentlemen, but this is the nature of what it is. You are involved in cryptocurrency trading. Not trading completely in the aspect of all the markets are like this, but cryptocurrency trading is probably one of the most volatile marketplaces on earth. I'm wondering why Wall Street isn't getting fully involved into it. I guess that's one of them. GR. To the dollar. Anyone have their accounts frozen on exchanges? Are they allowed to do that? Wow. Frozen? I don't know. What do you think? Does futures discern? What do you think? Do futures determine spot price? No, it doesn't have any reflection onto it. Futures don't reflect the value of Bitcoin. Futures, in essence, is you coming to a group of people and saying, yo, guys, I think it's going to go up. All right, show us where your money's at. Cool. Put it in this bucket right here. Leave it there. We'll match your bet. Here you go. We don't think it's going to go up. We think it's going to go down. Okay, put your money in the bucket. So you put your money in the bucket. At the end, you work out, does Bitcoin go up? Fair enough. It goes up. You take your money from the bucket of guys who went short against you. You got paid off their backs. Zero-sum game. That's what futures is. But then when Bitcoin, the coin itself, okay, we're talking about who's buying it, where's it being applied, what's its utility, is it being adopted, is it being banned, what's the legalities behind cryptocurrency, how can that affect the justification for people to hold Bitcoin or not hold Bitcoin, okay? Futures is a different ball game, guys. Futures is pure speculation. That's why they don't care about the price of Bitcoin in futures. All right? They don't care about it. El Salvador cares about the price of Bitcoin. Market maker doesn't care about the price of Bitcoin. As long as he can get it to a point in the chart where he can encourage enough people to buy and sell, he will be there providing the liquidity to do so. Simple. You know? 1,538 viewers. Thank you very much, guys. But only 375 of you are actually in the room. Be sure to like and subscribe. This is YouTube algorithm stuff that we're working. It's called pumping the algo. What a mad world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at some altcoins. Okay, cool. So, who's winning? Smooth Love Potion, yet again. Coming up. So a lot of altcoins have actually held their 50 EMAs. That's pretty good news for us. Principally, we could assume that from this pattern down here, we've got the rise, the retrace, and potentially the continuation back up. I'm not seeing any vector candles in this zone, but I'm seeing points in the chart where traders were going long. So the 50 would need to confirm. If the 50 doesn't confirm, then we are likely to see a breakdown into this range where we would get, in principle, another valid hit to the downside right here. Luna seems to be beasting out everything, especially against Bitcoin. Are we seeing the disparity with Luna? Is Luna going to outperform Bitcoin in principle, that every time Bitcoin drops aggressively, Luna doesn't really take that much of a drop. So pay attention to Luna, ladies and gentlemen. Luna's crossed over the 50 EMA and the 800, and both the 5 and the 13 are trading favorably higher. Keep an eye out on the 65 mark. There is liquidity there where traders had previously gone long and the market maker has hit their liquidations. We will know where we stand from this point in the chart if it continues to move higher. Remember that, okay? Is everything starting to move now? Okay, then let's have a look. Let's have a look at what is going on. Let's see what's going on across the board first, ladies and gentlemen, before we understand what's actually happening. Is it a manipulative play? We need to wait and see. Here we go. So, USDT chart, what's it doing? See, that's dropping down, and now it's sharply come back up. Bitcoin. This is on the 1 hour. Let me base it on the 5 minute. Bitcoin's gone up. Recovery of the red vector candle. Stopping volume. Rejection of the 50 EMA on the 5 minute time frame. Okay, I'll take that. What's gold doing? Gold isn't doing anything because gold is not trading just yet. This is what they call the dead gap time, where markets are closed. I know they're open still, but full markets are not open. S&P 500 has taken a battering to the downside. Let's have a look at other triggers that could actually do something with it. Trader sentiment. The yields themselves trading higher. So risk seems to be on, but they're containing the range. I don't like that. They still kept it in that way. Gold, of course, is doing what it's doing. SPX ain't doing nothing. USDT, nothing much is happening right there. Okay, then, here we go. What's going on? There's been a shift right now. See, everyone was like, Bitcoin's pumping, Ethereum's pumping. The sheer fact that you've alerted me to that, imagine how many people actually come to the charts and make decisions purely off quick price action that they see in the charts. It's crazy, isn't it? It is a mad thing that they can do that. So we're going to just pay attention a little bit for Bitcoin. I mean, we need to really work out our ranges now just to find out where we are expecting Bitcoin to end up. I need to roll onto the higher time frames just to understand. So look, in an hour and 20 minutes, guys, new 4-hour candle is going to come into play. If the new 4-hour candle starts and this candlestick is a little bit lower, we might see a little bit of a retrace back up into this wick. If it stays in this area from now until the next 4-hour candle, there's a good chance that they might actually spike down lower and hit this previous zone of liquidity. Ideally, what you want to see is you want to see price now come all the way down, and then the start of a new 4-hour candle try and look to come back up, because then we don't have any imbalance to come into again. Okay, we want to see them move away from this zone. Unfortunately, the rejection of the 50 is being a bit of a problem, because the rejection of the 50 didn't even go above this previous zone right here, where they could trigger enough orders to go to the long upside again. Didn't happen. So that I don't really like. Okay, 5-hour chart, what do we see? Same story. Nothing happening in that range. 6 has got a strong move to the downside. It's broken this area here and came back up into it. There's nothing else other than to just move price lower to test the previous intention at these key points in the chart. So we've got this point right here. We've got this next zone. What's it doing? We've got this next zone right here, which will then take us to the big vector candle zone in the chart, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, cool. So there is really nothing else to say to you other than the following. We must be prepared for Asia tonight. Remember the video that I did today talking about the Asian session ranges, okay? If this is the Asian session right here, the box play, and we've got the midpoint of Asia, okay, you will see price. Keep an eye out for this, guys. In the Asian session, price tends to open. It will open and do one of two things. Whatever direction it moves, if it moves to the upside straight away, you can bet your house that they're going to come and test the daily open. Keep an eye out for price action. Before they come back and test the daily open, they may even set the high, or they may even set the low first before they come back into the daily open. Just be mindful of the open of Asia. So that's Tokyo, Hong Kong, okay? But also there's Sydney, all right? Which is currently being rolled out very shortly. We're looking at in the next... here we go. This is Sydney right now as we speak, okay? It's when Hong Kong and Tokyo come into play. So 3 a.m. GMT London time. That's when Asia is in full swing. Okay, so just be mindful of that. All right, just keep an eye out on it, on them forming the first high and the first low. Okay, once they've established that, look at where price is in relation to the daily open. Once you've got that, you'll be able to work out what Asia's likely to do. In other words, if the Asian session itself does decide to do a manipulative play, the wider the range, okay, the more manipulation. The smaller the range, the more accumulation or distribution that the market maker's trying to do. He's either trying to build up positions or get ready to release them. Okay? Cool. What are your opinions on this? Bitcoin to 33k, 4-hour time frame death cross. Okay, then. Strong close likely to break downwards. Potentially, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, you've got to understand this, right? Looking at the charts, they spent most of the day today in this area and never followed through. Why? That's a reason to question. 1, 2, 3 hits to the high, drop. Okay, we really didn't have any news other than the same thing that we already knew. Why did they come back down again? Yeah, that's the thing. Naturally, we could see a bit of a retrace, but progressively, if they favor lower prices, they will move at speed in these ranges. Again, pay attention to the speed of candles, how they develop. This 1 hour candle right here, you know, started off as a normal shape and then it went down with aggression. How long does it take for the candle to form its structure and then come back up, and then coming towards the end of the hour candle, what does it do? Does it make its way back into the lowest point, or does it come back into the midpoint? That's something important. You see this candlestick right here, guys. This is important as well. We know now in this hour candle that in 15 minutes time, this candle could end up in a tight play to the previous candle. All right. However, if it decides to come down lower, closer towards the finalization of the candle, we will know what they were doing in this area. They were manipulating it, but they've spent too much time in this area, so it's not a candle with speed. All right. Whereas this candle right here, they shifted pretty fast. It came back up, but then it came back down again. So pay attention to the speed of the candlesticks. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for passing through to tonight. If you are new, be sure to like and subscribe and watch the last video that I did, which was New York stream today at 2 p.m. Okay. I'm absolutely shattered. It's been a busy day for me. I've been giving you guys the videos on the channel on questions that people have been asking. Get yourself over into the Discord, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new, and pinned to the top of the chat. If you are new to crypto and the channel itself, start there. It's pinned to the top of the chat. You can download these indicators. They are free. Just get yourself into the Pattern Watchers community, because that's where the mad love is at. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Have yourself a safe evening. Trade well. Peace.